To add a provider, from the admin menu, I can find the subtab for providers. You can also see it listed from the admin menu below. I'll see a link for add provider. I then will type in the provider's name, title, NPI, DEA, state, and state license number, and identify their site. Very important to identify the site, otherwise the provider won't be attached to any location and we won't see them in the software. So to identify the site, you can just simply type in either the site number or the name. Once I find my result, I click on it, and don't worry, even though it doesn't show the address, city and state and phone, it will, after you hit submit, it will auto-populate. To create a user, very similar, again from the admin tab, I see a subtab for users, or again down here in the main menu. Click on the add user link, and the form is very similar. It's almost flipped around to where I first am prompted to identify the site. So again, I can either just type in the site number or the site name. And I want to click on the appropriate result and make sure it's loaded. If it's not loaded, then the site is not identified and the user will not be assigned. From there, I want to create the username. Careful not to use common usernames like maybe J Smith. More than likely that's taken somewhere else within the software. So typically, as long as the user has a unique last name, you can do something like first initial and last name. If not, the system will let you know that it's in use and you can try a new one. Password, you can make whatever you like. You can even force them, if you, for example, want to create a generic password for now and force them to change it when they do log in next or for the first time. Next, put in their first, last name, and email address. Email is recommended. Sometimes users forget their login info, so this is an easy way for us to email it to them so that they can retrieve it, or that they can retrieve it on their own. When they log in, there's a forgot login or forgot password link on the main login page. Also, you can specify their time zone. If they're going to be doing things like maybe they want to receive texts to their phone for maybe things like the patient has arrived in the dispense queue, we can set that up. Also, you can specify what their role is. Usually a user at a practice for dispensing is either an assistant or a manager. Main difference between an assistant and a manager is that the manager, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they're the office manager, but the manager user has the ability, has this admin tab. So that allows them to also create users and doctors. Also, a manager user can just have one login. So if they have multiple sites that they work at, they can just keep the main login and they'll have, again, that main admin tab so that they can jump from site to site just like you can. You can disable any sort of functionality you don't want them to have. Maybe if you don't want them to be able to adjust inventory. You can even control what email notifications they receive. Mainly that is it. So that completes creating a user.